Fourth, I've put Spurs. Third, I've put City. Second, Chelsea. And I've stuck to the reigning champions. First, Liverpool.
So you put Chelsea second?
Yeah, I knew over City. Right.
City third is my question. What's going on there?
Okay. City this season, and I'm going off the start of the season, do not look like the City we know. I think other teams used to go into City and be like, and treat them with respect, and now they're going in thinking we can actually beat City. I think obviously the loss of Aguero, and he's still injured for a few more weeks, I think, has had such an impact. They have a complete lack of strikers. Never mind specifically Aguero. They have a lack of strikers, and I think they just are lacking that quality to be second. And I think Chelsea, it's a new team. I like what Frank's doing, and I think that their confidence might edge it, and their quality might edge it over City. I just don't think this year City have that same stardom that they had like in the previous seasons. I think it'll be close though in terms of points. I don't think we're definitely not going to see a Liverpool team win like they did last year. And I was actually hesitant to put them first, but I think their injuries are obviously a point of discussion, but I think they will get there. They'll clinch it again by points, but it's close up there. But I've gone for Chelsea. I back my decision,
One thing that I really agreed with is the fact that it's all going to be very close. I think it's going to be super close in the top four.
Yeah, me too.
In terms of one win could get you from fourth to first. I honestly think it could be that close. I had it at 5 points between fourth and first, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Liverpool, it's a tough one. No Van Dijk, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. Morgan, what do you have to say?
I think Spurs fourth is fair. They look like a good side. I think they want to get Champions League football. Jose Mourinho wants to get Champions League football, and I think they can do it. They look like a strong team. And I think the difference this year is also they look like they can grind out results, which is an important factor for a top four side when you're not playing well. The Burnley performance stands out to me. It was a close game, and it was anyone's for the taking, and they were able to get the 3 points. So just a couple signs there they can get out results when necessary or when needed. But obviously, it's still a couple concerns. I mean, the West Ham game, but I think that was its own kind of remarkable thing that just goes in the history books that never happens to concede 3 goals like that. I question the City thing. Yes, they're missing strikers, but they're such a good side. And the strikers won't be gone forever, and they're just going to slot right back in the squad. And they have so much depth. So I with all these teams, you have to factor Europe and with the tighter schedule. So you have less time off. And a factor that, with predictions that came in for me is, how much depth do these squads have? And for me, City just have the most depth.
For me, I think Leicester, I'm surprised that you put Leicester outside the top 5. I think they're actually like a better team than they were last year, and they were good last year. The way they play football, it could look better.
I'm dying to hear if you have Leicester in top 4.
We'll see. Where I put Leicester, it is that Vardy is on best form this year. Continues where he's at. If he gets injured, I mean, they're still a decent side, but they're not top 5.
To be honest, though, I think it's not like I'm really confident that Liverpool are going to win. I think it's going to be a points thing, and I think Liverpool will get there. I don't think it's going to be like last season, sure. Okay,
so
he's got Leicester. I feel like he's got Leicester third. There's no way.
In 5th, Tottenham Spurs. I think they're an alright side. Interesting to see what Gareth Bale's going to do. But in my opinion, there's 4 better teams than them this year. That's why I put them 5th. 4th place, Chelsea Football Club. Why I put Chelsea in the position? I know all other teams have European football. I know that. But I think just given the group that they're in, Chelsea, and the depth and whatnot, I think that Chelsea won't be able to finish in the top 1 or 2. The only thing is, when I say this, I have 4 points or 4 or 5 points in between 4th and 1st. I don't think they'll be able to cope with performing top level in both competitions. Young side, Frank's doing a great job. They're a good side. They still have more work to do. That's where I stand. But again, this is what I have. One result goes one way. It is what it is. But I think I have Chelsea fourth in Champions League football. Third, Leicester. And I think this is the season where I think they'll be top of the league for a certain amount of time, for a longer amount of time. Christmas, Leicester will be first. Why I think that? I think they're a side that gets things done. They'll win against both Liverpool and City at some point. I'm not going to say they're going to take all 6 points from both of them, but I think they'll be able to win those big matches against the other top teams, the Arsenals, the Tottenham's, Man United, whatever. But yeah, I just see them being top and then fading a little bit of away due to the consistency of the next two teams. The champion, in my opinion, will be City for one. So Liverpool second, City first. The reason being, I see it being very close. The results in between those two teams. I just see Man City honestly getting through it. Van Dijk injury. But that's not just to say, okay, Liverpool's going to be shocking. I just see Man City taking it in a close end of season fight. And that's I believe in Pep. It's really a toss, so I can't really talk about it too much.
Yeah, it really is. Liverpool Man City is a toss for me. So in fifth place, I have Leicester City. I wanted to put them in the top four, but I just don't see them having the same quality throughout the team that Tottenham do. They've got quality players, but if I look through their team, I just don't see the same quality I see in Tottenham, which I think is a fair statement. And also they're both in Europe, so I think coping with depth is another thing, and I think Spurs have more of that. So these were my factors in putting Spurs fourth. I put Chelsea third. Now, the reason I put Chelsea third above Tottenham is because I just think they have such good attack, and I think defensively they need to work on it. But I looked at this, right? So last season, at this point, they had 14 points. This season they have 15, so it's not too much difference. But what I want to pay attention to is their goal difference. So last season they had +4 at this point, and they finished with 15 as their final goal difference. This season they're already at 10.
Chelsea
already at 10. Their goal difference is the best in the league. And if I look at specifically at kind of goals for, goals against, and I keep it on kind of track with what they're doing, they could have as high goal difference as 50 if they continue at this rate, because we're a fifth of the way through the season. So, go on. He's smiling. But their attack is just...
If that happens, I'll fly to +50.
I think that we're going to have such freak results.
Mate, last season, Man City had 67.
Yeah,
but Man City have been conceding.
Yeah, no, this is last season, but I'm just saying, like, that doesn't... And I've still got them third, right? I haven't got them winning the league. I didn't say they win the league with 50. Liverpool had 52 last year, but Liverpool, you would say they won a lot of games by one goal. But yeah, with Chelsea, I can't see them higher than third, just because I think Liverpool, Man City are more experienced sides. They've got far more experienced managers, and I think that's a big factor, especially in the last kind of 10 games. So I think if you look at... Frank's a good manager, but if you compare experience, that's another reason why I put them third. In first place, as the champions for the 2021 Premier League season, it hurts me to say it, but I had Manchester City as the champions. My logic for this was, as I said, 75, 80 points, I think, to win the league this year. Man City had 16 at this point last season. And this season, assuming they win their game in hand, which is an assumption, but I'm going to assume it, they have 15. So they're only 1 point behind that. So to get 80 points, if they have a similar track record to last season, is realistic. And I think 80 points could win the league. So I see that happening. And they have strengthened the squad. Their strikers are going to come back eventually. They're not out for the whole season, like some other big players for other teams. So these were the factors that I considered when thinking about whether Man City would win the league or Liverpool. Going over to Liverpool, they have injury problems. Gomez may be out for the season. Trent Alexander-Arnold probably till the end of the year. And Van Dijk confirmed for the whole season. So those defensive concerns are massive because when you think about Liverpool last season, they always grinded out results and they always got the 3 points.
Yeah.
And that was usually through their defensive performances, securing them the game and their lethalness going forward. Man City have that this year in terms of bringing in Ruben Diaz, who's a great player. They're going to be a bit more solid at the back. So if I had to ask myself, who's more likely to grind out those results, which I think will be a determining factor this year, and I look at the three defences of Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea, for me it's City. And that was essentially my determining factor.
What I'd say, though, is in this season where you're getting crazy results and even the big teams are conceding loads of goals, I think it's less about who's going to have a stronger defensive display and who's going to get the goals. And I think Liverpool are going to get more goals than City.
Equally so, City can also go and spend in the window. Do you know what I mean? On strikers.
Yeah, but if you say they're coming back, maybe they'll be more reluctant. But is Aguero going to be the same Aguero?
City have never hesitated to spend money. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's why they have so much depth in their squad, because they've never gone, oh, we have enough players, we don't need. That's never been City's, with the amount of money they have, that's never been their mentality. So I would counter the argument of Liverpool sign defenders by saying, yes, City could sign attackers and they still already have a strong defence. So, I mean, it depends on what angle you look at. It's a good point. And the only thing I would say is, with this topsy-turvy season, the way I look at it is that it's going to be more crucial than ever to grind out the results when you have to. And for me, that's a defensive thing.